Korin Locke was just a gamer who woke up inside the world of the heroic legend of Arhan, a game he knew inside out. At first he wasn't worried. After all, he wasn't the protagonist. That role belonged to Park Si-hoo, the hero destined to defeat the final boss. Korin believed all he had to do was survive and follow the script. But the deeper he followed Si-hoo, the more things felt wrong. Missing heroines, twisted quests, and secrets buried beneath the surface. By the time he uncovered the truth, it was horrifying. The so-called hero was a monster, farming the blood of the heroines and hiding an obsession far darker than any final boss. Korin died, betrayed and powerless after Hero failed to defeat the final boss alone. Now return to the very beginning. He's no longer naive. This isn't a game. The hero is the threat, and Korin's only goal now is simple. Stop Si-hoo before he becomes unstoppable, so he could calmly enjoy his wonderful school life together with the beautiful girls at the academy. Korin soon wakes up to find that he has been regressed to the point where he first started 3 years ago. He vows to not repeat what happened and needs to kill Park Si-hoo. Korin needs to kill the main player. Some time ago, the system notified us that an incident with the Rotian River had happened. The dam broke, causing tons of water monsters and villagers in the town to be drowned. At such a devastating incident, Park Si-hoo laughs, finding it amazing. At that time, Korin looked at him blankly. He didn't understand his joy, but now when he thinks of it, he realizes that Park saw his own advantage in it, an opportunity to monopolize his experience. Though Korin decides to stop him now, as long as he stays a rank 5 rookie like him. Additionally, all possible power-ups are concentrated in Merkaba Academy. Park Si-hoo, who came back stronger after entering the academy, may not be a monster right now, but no one knows how fast his power will grow. In that case, the admissions will start 5 days from now, so the best option is to kill Park Si-hoo right now. While running and picking up mushrooms, he gets a system notification informing him about a tutorial quest to save people, along with the security guards, as the carriage traveling towards Merkaba City broke down in a forest of infected monsters. In the forest with infected monsters, Leon and Laura, the security guards, just killed a small rabbit monster that came in their way, being happy about it. While the fixer calls out for them, the carriage is fixed now, but as soon as they turn towards the carriage, a rank 2 werewolf appears in front of them, roaring loudly, filling the air with its terror. Korin has already arrived at the forest, but feels like it is too late since he has not arrived at the exact location yet, but can still hear the roaring and howling of the monsters. Simultaneously, Leon makes Laura get out of the way, and tries dodging the monster's attack. Seeing him struggle, Park Si-hoo, who is also in the carriage, runs out of it, trying to buy Leon some time. Meanwhile, Korin stands near the bushes, wanting to see if Park Si-hoo will save these people or not. As soon as Park Si-hoo stands face to face with the monster, he notices it grabbing Leon's throat with its deadly paws. With trembling hands, Park Si-hoo tries to attack the monster to save his companion, but before he could do that, Alicia Arden, the second daughter of the Arden family, who possessed Odachi, one of the 6 king swords, immediately jumps out of the carriage out of nowhere and attacks the monster, promising to handle this monster alone and assuring Park Si-hoo to get back. Just then, something familiar to Korin happens, and Park Si-hoo stabs Alicia from behind with his dagger. This makes Korin realize that Park Si-hoo was always the evil he wasn't able to recognize after all. Alicia looks at him with pleading eyes, not understanding the reason behind the betrayal, but Park Si-hoo pretends that his hand slipped. On the flip side, Korin is very well aware that if Alicia dies in this quest, then it will help Park Si-hoo to get his hands on the Odachi, and because of that, he would be joining Lunya Arden's party, the Great Swordsman, which is even worse. Although Alicia is so strong that even after being stabbed, she takes an attacking stance and jumps back several times, increasing the distance between her and the werewolf. Calming herself down, she uses her exceptional footwork skills, emitting a very strong energy, concentrating energy in her sword. Upon realizing she would be able to kill that monster alone, he throws the dagger filled with dark energy at Alicia, yet she blocks this dagger with her sword, coming to the conclusion that the excuse about slippage of hand was just a lie. Alicia then turns around to face the monsters and spots it near her face, its mouth widened to swallow her. She swings her sword with swift movement, managing to land a blow, plunging the sword into the werewolf's head, though the werewolf still bites her head. Alicia and the werewolf fall on the ground while Park Si-hoo grabs her Odachi, planning to stab her one final time, thinking about killing the NPC will bring in EXP too. Before he could kill Alicia, Korin secretly threw a powder that was coated on Topanic mushrooms, which are the favorite of forest monsters, so as soon as it was thrown on him, the forest monster lunged forward to attack him. Seeing the opportunity, Alicia is being dragged at the corner by Korin. He thanks God as she is breathing. However, Korin uses his dagger to remove the monster's fangs, but in the meantime, Park Si-hoo sees him dragging her. Korin stands there unfazed, mocking him for having an Odachi, since he killed 3 hornets in 1 minute. When Park Si-hoo looks at him closely, he immediately recognizes it is none other than Korin Locke, Park Si-hoo takes a defensive position, gripping his odachi tightly, demanding to know how he'd get there, which makes Korin realize that Park Si-hoo might have forgotten everything, taking it as a chance. Distracting Park Si-hoo, Korin charges forward swiftly, swinging his fist at Park Si-hoo's head and throwing the dirt he picked up from the ground at his eyes. To defend himself, Si-hoo wields the sword in the air but obviously misses the attacks. Korin dodges these strikes but understands that Park Si-hoo is a mediocre swordsman, moving fast enough. Pushing himself forward, Korin grabs the monster's fangs, aiming at his throat, but Park Si-hoo manages to open his eyes, counter-attacking at the last moment. Korin lunges forward, aiming the fang at Park Si-hoo's throat, intent on ending this fight, but once again, Si-hoo evades. The frustration burns in Korin's eyes. He wants nothing more than to see that fang buried deep inside Si-hoo. He charges, swinging his free arm as an act while bringing the fang in for another strike. Caught off guard by the hidden move, Park Si-hoo stumbles back, fear flashing across his face. Korin crashes into him, slamming him to the ground and driving the dagger into his shoulder. Blood spills out of the wound, though terror washes over Si-hoo's face when he spots Korin aiming the fang towards him with his other hand. Desperate, Si-hoo uses his hand to block the strike, letting the fang stab through it to avoid a blow that will make him dead. But Korin is unstoppable. He grabs the fang with both hands and pushes, forcing it down with every ounce of strength, until the fang finally sinks into Si-hoo's throat. Killing him was necessary. He is a monster seed, which would have grown further, causing numerous disasters for humanity. Just then, the system notifies us about an error occurring and player Park Si-hoo being dead. The percentage of successful completion of the main plot is calculated by analyzing the potential of the player and passing the experience points and the minimal backup down in case of a scenario that collapses minimal stats of Park Si-hoo to him. He's now an AADA class knight, the Martial Master's successor, sub-player. Korin is about to rejoice about this, yet his focus shifts to Alicia gasping for air. Reaching out to her, he notices her being affected by the peacock tree frog's poison. He notices the fang in her stomach, knowing during training it is difficult to create this poison without using various combinations, and if Park Si-hoo's skills were a little higher, she would have been dead up till now. But since the fang is still inside her, she needs to detoxify, and the bleeding should be stopped as well. Tightening the belt around the area of her injury, Korin stops the bleeding. Though he knows biting her own tongue would create a problem, he brings Park Si-hoo's dead arm to her mouth so that she could bite on it. Additionally, he wraps his shirt around her waist, and now she is lying on the ground peacefully, while Korin prepares the antidote. Meanwhile, as the antidote is being prepared, Korin's mind races with thoughts. He is not aware of how he traveled 3 years back, but things aren't the same. He killed a player and even saved someone. His thoughts are interrupted when Alicia murmurs to know his name, but Korin suggests she rest, ignoring the question. He wants to keep everything about himself confidential. He reminds himself of the situation, the story of the heroic legend of Arhan. This hero will be rescuing the world, taking down tons of monsters, including the final boss. Park Si-hoo was in the story so that the world would end, so Korin has a chance to be that hero. Though even after being a sub-player, he is not allowed to use the player's equipment and staff. While drawing a circle on the ground, he thinks of using factors external to the system. Then suddenly powerful flames erupt from the small magic circle. They swirl and then vanish just as quickly. However, he knows, it worked. In his previous life, though naturally weak to magic, he had devoted himself to studying one thing: runes, ancient symbols of immense magical power. Duty, restriction, oath. 3 primal laws, the source of superhuman strength. Now, with nothing left, he decides to engrave all 3 runes onto his body. While engraving these 3 runes, he promises to not turn a blind eye to the misfortunes of good people, not to perceive spirits, and to save the world. With all 3 commandments being completed, they will be applied to the player. However, failure to uphold the oath will result in certain death. Sometime later, Alicia opens her eyes after a very long sleep. She is surprised to see herself in a bed, and as soon as she wakes up, she feels the pain she received from her recent injury. Though the nurse there informs her about being in Merkaba City Emergency Hospital and suggests she not move. Curious, she wants to know about the person who left her here, but she ends up disappointed after getting to know that her savior already left. On a nearby table, she notices her savior's belt, which still has her blood on it. To ignore it, she demands honey bomb candy from the nurse, yet gets frustrated upon getting strict instructions to have stew for now. It has been 3 days since that incident in the forest, and today is the day for Merkaba's entry test. While searching for his ID in the wallet, Korin notices a letter in there. It is from his mother, telling her son how proud she is, and advising him to help the people around him. After possessing this body, Korin felt pretty strange, though he is now one of them, the ones in his family, due to the fact that they never treated him without change. Pressing forward, at the train station, there are many people looking in different directions with different emotions. A girl, Mariette Dunilef, the same one who was trapped by Park Si-hoo, a first-class, second-year Merkaba mage, waves and greets those new students to gather. After a time when the train leaves, Mariette points at the training room and introduces herself to everyone. Mariette is someone who walks forward on a smooth road while getting everyone's blessings. However, tables turn pretty quickly, people face numerous mishaps, and there are tragedies that will be happening to Mariette Dunilef in the future. She is the first act's final boss. After completing their journey, students are advised to get off while taking one potato and sweet potato each by Mariette, and then she bids them all farewell. Students come to the Freedom Hall of Merkaba Academy. Corin immediately notices the magic circle above them, realizing that the space expansion magic is starting soon. As the space expansion magic takes place, the hall turns into darkness, making all the students freak out, though Corin stands there unfazed, already experiencing all of it. A voice can be heard in the darkness to motivate students who are backing off. It is the voice of the old Haman. All of it is the same as before, as if they are in a training camp. Instantly, a man steps out from the darkness. Furman Daman, Night Faculty Professor. He wants to see every student's capabilities, so a system window appears in front of every student. It is the overall rank of each one of them. That being said, they all have to stand in front of the number sign matching their number. As soon as Furman wishes them luck, all of them are teleported to a different location, since the battle is starting soon, to analyze their skills. Josephine Clara is amazed to see this year's students have a lot of hidden talent, but she decides not to judge the first or second ranked students yet, and to wait until all the others have been assessed. In the second position is Alicia Arden, the same girl saved by Corin, Yuel, Dronworski, and Cranel Luden, and in the first position is Huarin. However, it is shocking for Josephine to see Huarin being enrolled. At the same time, the examiner feels disappointed seeing the 5th rank students being so weak. He hesitates to test the 6th rank ones, thinking they'll be even worse. Yet Josephine doesn't let him do it because each student deserves to learn. Not having much of a choice, the examiner announces that the test will start in 30 seconds. Monsters will appear based on the students' levels. Before all the students, weapon cases are dropped. In his previous life, Corin chose a sword. Most of the students chose the same weapon, but this time, Corin uses a spear, a better weapon than the others. 30 seconds pass as soon as Corin chooses the weapon, and 3 short hounds, 5th rank monsters, appear in his space. Corin smirks, looking at them. Meanwhile, they roar, their eyes filled with hunger. Abruptly, one of the short hounds attacks Corin but ends up being dead in the blink of an eye. This makes the other hounds furious, and they lunge forward, but they disappear in seconds after being defeated by Corin. He can't help but smile due to the fact that he has way too much experience killing these species. It took Corin 12 seconds to kill these hounds. Killing them in such a short time hits him with nostalgia, since in his past life, he couldn't kill these monsters in the first round and got eliminated immediately. Though this time, he is just standing there waiting for the next wave to come, knowing he is going to pass this test with flying colors. But it is kind of disappointing for him as the next wave is not starting yet. Meanwhile, the examiner looking at them from the screen is hella disappointed with the players who are being defeated by such small monsters, remembering his time when he used to kill 5th rank monsters in a total of 1 minute and 22 seconds. However, he doesn't even plan on looking at the 6th rank players after seeing the condition of the 5th ones. Although his gaze shifts to Corin, who is a player of 6th rank, assuming that there might be a bug as there are no monsters coming. Ignoring him, he looks for other passers, taking 7 minutes, while assuming that the 3rd rankers will be needing 2 to 3 minutes only. Little does he know that it is a lot. Corin has killed the monsters in 12 seconds only. Though the odd feeling gets back to the examiner, he can't help but ask his manager if there is a system malfunction, since someone who should have been eliminated a long time ago is sitting there and chilling. However, they are also aware that the malfunctions don't really happen, as Josephine has created the system for these students, and she can't make mistakes. Annoyed, the examiner summons the monsters by his own in Corin's space. Their eyes widen in shock when they witness Corin defeating the monsters in just 7.3 seconds. They stumble back and call out for Professor Furmak to see this exceptional sight. Unaware of everything, Furmak is confused. Despite that, the examiner learns from Furmak that the fastest record among the 3rd and 4th rank students under his supervision belongs to a kid named Jaeger, who completed it in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. This is unreal for everyone. Hearing this, the examiner becomes curious and wants to see more of Corin's capabilities, assuming that he might be a son of a hunter, noticing his exceptionality at throwing the spear. In that case, he summons a 4th rank monster, Matt Bohr, but to his surprise, Corin kills it in 3.7 seconds. This makes him even more curious about Corin's true potential, so he sends the 3rd rank monster, Owlbear, now because the test only goes up to 3rd rank monsters. Being a 3rd rank monster, Owlbears are definitely strong, so it doesn't really go into the defend mode but attacks Corin as well. Noticing it in the attack mode, Corin quickly uses the rune magic. Flames erupt in the space, engulfing the owlbear in the fire, but it doesn't seem to attack much, so as long as it gets caught in the blaze, Corin quickly attacks it with a spear and defeats it easily. All the examiners are shocked. With that, they come to the conclusion that this player is definitely not a 6th ranked player, and is someone who shows quite the potential after a very long time. However, after the monster killing test, the evil spirit test begins. As soon as the evil spirits are summoned, Korin can't see or hear them because of the promise he took while engraving the runes in his body to not perceive spirits. Korin still tries waiting for a minute, but when it is confirmed that he can actually not interfere with evil spirits, he gives up eventually. Later on at the Merkaba Hall, students are talking about their ranks. That is when Korin's gaze darts towards Jaeger Hinchpeter. In the past life, this guy got killed by Park Sihu because he was so full of himself. Still, he is, but it is probably because of the age factor. With that, Lark, a 5th rank player who looks evidently uncomfortable. In the past life he was bullied and couldn't ever get over his complexes, and he also had the same luck as Jaeger, got killed too. Meanwhile, the director, Aryu Kasar, welcomes all the students, wishing them luck, hoping that the students will be learning and will find their own path in this place. Later on, when they all roam around, Jaeger notices Lark sitting at the corner and decides to bully him like in the past life. But this time, Korin has planned to not let him do it, so he immediately reaches out to them and cleverly talks about Jaeger's tattoos, which makes Jaeger happy that someone has a knowledge of tattoos like him. Korin only knows this because in his past life, when Jaeger went missing, his mother came to the academy. Out of worry, she revealed that his tattoos weren't just for show. They were something she had discovered, trying to protect her son who had joined the Guardian Academy. Noticing him having the same interests, Jaeger quickly gets impressed and talks friendly with both Lark and Korin. At the same time, Alicia sees all this, being happy about Korin saving his fellow mate from being bullied. However, this is how Korin ends up leaving a strong impression on Lark. He remembers Lark's ability, Memorize. A small smirk forms on Korin's face. He has found it, his free skill book. In the Merkaba Academy, most of the facilities are free, even the dorms. The cafeteria is cheaper than the outside, although the most demanded and referred facility is the training room, since it helps in a lot of ways, like fighting with the spirit bodies, which were invisible to Korin earlier in the test. While Korin is practicing with the spirit bodies, the students are shocked to see a freshman doing it. Normally, students practice with these in their second semesters, but the funny part is, he is doing it so effortlessly. Meanwhile, the second-year students can't catch wind-type spirit bodies. The students make fun of Korin when he gets a powerful blow to his face. With that, the instructor walks in, demanding an explanation for Korin's practice against a spirit body. Korin calmly explains that he's training his spear skills. The sudden attention makes Korin anxious. Why was this old man approaching him so directly? Had he made a mistake during the entrance test? But the instructor, seeing Korin's determination, hands Korin 10 meal tickets as a reward and tells him to come find him if he succeeds. He'd personally offer his praise. With that, the instructor leaves, seemingly in a good mood, while Korin quietly returns to his practice, thanking God that everything was fine. At the same time, Mariette looks at Korin's training. The way he is training unstoppably shows his urge to get better. Therefore, after a tough training session and getting a strong strike, Korin falls on the ground, breathing heavily, gasping for air. Quickly, Mariette hands him a glass of water, assuring him that he did good, should rest now, and will be better the next time. But Korin is relentless, as he is aware of the fact that in the past life, he had Sihu with him. Because of that, they had potions and skill books from the combination window, but now he has to do everything on his own, so he doesn't stop and practice again. With that decision made, Korin chooses to test his limits. He knows it might be excessive, but he needs to understand how far his past abilities can be pushed. One by one, he unleashes them. Ominous Serpent Stab, Black Capture Plague Counterattack, Returning Heaven Spin, and Pagoda Tree Mountain Throw, each strike landing heavy against the spirit. As he moves through the techniques, a thought races in his mind. In his past life, his body was weak. All the information he had about Park Sihu or the future was useless when faced with monsters and true geniuses. If he wants to stand among them this time, he needs more than knowledge. He needs immense strength, and with that he shoots his spear with the combined skill of Ominous Serpent, Deep Righteous, Slithering Serpent, and Calamity Serpent Intent, causing such an intense result that widens Mariette's eyes. She is speechless. She decides to choose words for his talent but ends up being quiet by seeing his outstanding skill. But obviously it was excessive for Korin, so he ends up being on the ground, all dizzy. The next day, Mariette introduces the Academy's facilities to the students. But even while being with all the students and visiting these facilities, Korin's mind drifts into thoughts. He wants to get stronger because with this weak body, he won't be able to test all his limits. And to be able to do it, the one way is commandments. His gaze shifts to Lark, remembering his promise to not turn a blind eye to others' misfortunes. So he reaches out to him and offers to go out and discuss grimoires, a skill book. Merkaba Library has tons of books but hides grimoires, though they both go to the library in search of the book. Korin promises to give the skill book to him if he helps him repel evil spirits. While searching for the book, Corin opens the hidden door. As soon as they enter the door, Lark demands to know what he needs to do in order to repel evil spirits, but ends up getting a strong punch by Corin, making him unconscious on the ground. Corin studies Lark, who is unconscious on the ground. At first, he wanted to help Lark too, but he needs to complete the special quest as well. Capturing the evil spirit here can make him earn the hidden piece he wants. Though the problem is the special evil spirit, Sabantia Duke. Sabantia Duke's attacks are so powerful that people can't even tolerate the first blow and end up being dead as soon as the quest starts. However, as his promise is not to perceive any evil spirit, he can't even see the special spirit, nor are his attacks working on Corin. In that case, he offers Lark's unconscious body to Sabantia in order to attack him. In this world, there are mysterious elements known as factors, forces capable of turning ordinary humans into demi-humans like vampires or werewolves. One day, Sabantia awakens as a vampire and, unable to control his urges, kills his servant. Despite his efforts to resist the transformation, he fails. Fearing he might kill his wife and daughter, he sends them away and closes his castle. To prevent further disaster, he uses magic to imprison himself inside a book, the grimoire, now hidden in the library. Although, immediately after taking over Lark's body, Sabantia lunges forward to attack Corin. Yet Corin chose Lark since he can fully unleash his hidden physical strength. Lark cannot really do much. Even when he tries to attack Corin, he dodges the attacks and counterattacks him. Corin feels sorry for Lark, but has to do what he has to do to clear this quest. If he possessed Lark, he would obtain the highest grade items, like the Duke's cape and the vampire's armor, the same items Park Si-hoo used, which played a great role in the future. But Corin is different. He wants to end the life of this soul kindly. In that case, he tells Sabantia about what happened to his wife and daughter after he was sealed, the way his wife died and how amazing of a hunter his daughter is. Upon receiving this information, Sabantia is ashamed to attack Corin in the first place, and they had a pretty detailed conversation before he died. However, after clearing the quest kindly, Corin obtains the epic item Soul Dust, the grimoire, the book that Duke Sabantia's soul was sealed in, having abilities and spells. He even gained a new ability, Persistent Warrior's Regeneration, which can recover a wounded body. Although as soon as Lark wakes up, Corin suggests he stay still since an evil spirit possesses him and hands him the grimoire. Seeing the grimoire, Lark's face lights up with joy, and just because Corin didn't turn an eye to the misfortune of those who are kind, according to his promise, he earned 80 points. Based on the game mechanics, 5 stats are gained with each level up. This is the number of points he received after leveling up 16 times. He wonders if the total is compensating for the fact that he can't directly gain stats, but still, it seems like a lot of experience. 40 points came from Lark, and 40 more from Sabantia. At the stamina training room, Mariette is distributing sweet potatoes to the students, and she also wishes Corin luck for catching the spirit bodies today. Though the students find it funny that the 5th-ranked student would be chasing spirits, they find it unreal. However, Mariette places a bet with the students on whether Corin can catch the spirit bodies or not. Gripping the spear, Corin hopes to catch the spirit, thinking positively because now he has points from Sabantia too. Starting with the weakest basics first, he makes himself remember the last time he used Slithering Serpent to defeat the spirit body, the most difficult among the Calamity Serpent intentions, so he decides to use the Ominous Serpent skill. In a single blow, he catches the spirit. This is unbelievable for Corin himself. He never expected to be improving his strength this early. Additionally, Mariette congratulates him and hands him his share from the bet with the students. Later on that night, while walking around the campus, Corin thinks about his weaknesses and strengths. At one point, his spear skills are being improved quickly, but on the other hand, with the rune's magic, his mana is always low. In that case, he needs to solve this problem, and then he can maintain his abilities very easily. While walking, he heard a voice. He immediately recognized it. Someone even Park Si-hoo couldn't kill in the past life, one of the strongest forces in the heroic legend of Arhan, a notorious balance breaker, an adamant Jiangshi, Huaran, sitting under a tree, looking pretty suspicious. It is kind of shocking to find her there in the darkness, but Corin decides to ignore her and walk past her, but his eyes widen in shock when she doubts that he is the owner of the body he is in. Panic washes over Corin's face. His mind races with questions. Is she guessing, or does she really know that Corin has possessed this body? Huaran is someone like a corpse, having both human and monster within her body. She might see the color of someone's soul, being in between the middle of life and death, so it was something that was meant to happen. Her recognizing Corin has possessed somebody's body, though Corin acts in front of Huaran, pretending that her words haven't affected him and are not real. In the past life, Corin always doubted his true form. He never understands if the real him and Corin, the one whose body he possessed, is the same or not, and if not, then who is he? These questions about his true self always haunted him, but in the end, nothing mattered when he was on the ground lifeless. In that case, he explains to Huaran about his neighbor Bruce, who turns into a green giant when he is mad, though his two different personalities hate each other. What he's trying to say is that being a new soul or an original one, Either way, it makes no difference. Whether someone chooses it or not, they were born into a body, and there's no sin in simply being born. Hearing that, Hwoarang grits her teeth, not agreeing with Corin because for her, even being born is a sin. Corin can see where the rage and agony are coming from, but he says nothing and leaves. The next morning, Corin is at the south part of the academy. He left the dorm even before the sunrise because of the mission board. The commissions there help students level up for the main quest, meaning it is a necessary course to move forward. Corin doesn't want to level up but wants to test something else, though his attention shifts to Alicia, who is staring at the board carefully. Not understanding her being so focused, Corin asks the reason behind her desperation, and her answer shocks him. She needs money. Even though the activity support funds for second rankers like Alicia are pretty high, she is not getting any due to the fact that those who are already wealthy, these fund support clubs don't really help them, and since her parents are permissive, she must earn her own living expenses. Looking at the board, Corin suggests she take part in a patrol mission, which is cheaper, but they will accept up to 3 people. Yet Corin denies Alicia taking part with her, as he has some other plans. He'll pick the best ones, find the butterfly cat. If he saves the cat dying because of the water monster, he will help the owner with the prevention of depression, and will obviously get rewards on the completion of the duty promise. And just as he said, he did all of it. The commandment is activating, which means even small missions will boost his stats. This makes Corin dance in joy, but the people find him psychotic. However, his happiness doesn't last when he remembers what he forgot, even after making notes. Kyejo-yoon is furious because there is no sauce appeasing his desire to make chicken even after adding tons of ingredients. Immediately, Corin arrives there and advises him to add starch syrup. Kyejo finds this advice foolish but ends up screaming in joy because he cracked the dish. Even helping someone like this makes Corin earn points. This is mind-blowing for him because he told the recipe to the guy for his own selfish reasons, as it will be difficult for people of Korea to survive without Yangnyeom chicken. Seeing him acting all goofy and happy from the top of the roof of another building, Hwoarang finds him crazy. Josephine approaches her, informing her about taking permission while leaving. That is when Hwoarang gets the flashback of Corin telling her being born is not a sin, but on the flip side, someone shouting at her, regretting that she was born. Later on, at the hunting ground, Josephine announces that first-year students will be tested on their survival skills in the hunting grounds. They need to reach the cabin at the northern end of the forest, and they will pass, though they need to wear their rank armbands, and they will obtain points depending on their time. Corin notices Hwoarang not being there. As always, she was never there for practical tests. Just then, his attention shifts towards Alicia. She thanks him for helping her out. She is now able to cover her monthly expenses. To her surprise, he hands her a candy she loves, and without hesitation she takes it. Abruptly, space magic is created, and all the students are teleported to the forest. Corin is shocked to witness students fighting as soon as they enter the forest. The hunting ground is an event where even skilled players have to make endless attempts in order to steal others' armbands for the sake of gaining points. But the disadvantage is that players are scattered in the overall forest at random locations. Smartly, he decides to aim for the most dangerous players, and after Hwoarang, it is Alicia. Little did she know Corin planted a tracking rune in the candy she ate. Corin ignores those crazy players fighting like kids and starts moving forward in the deep forest, because as long as he deals with the strong one first, the rest are like free points. Smiling, Corin keeps heading further, being aware of where Alicia is because of the tracking rune placed inside her body. Sweat coats Alicia's face. She doesn't understand why all the people are attacking her at once, finding it unfair. Still, she attacks those players and knocks them out. Just then, a guy attacks Alicia. It was a close hit, but to Alicia's surprise, he falls on the ground, unconscious out of nowhere. Alicia notices Corin, who knocked the guy out for her, making her happy, but just because she got distracted, Corin smartly attacks her armband. Her eyes are filled with tears of betrayal as she thought of him as a good person. Alicia is a pure fighting type second-rank knight. She still finds it hard to properly use her Vigilant Eyes ability. In terms of fighting power, she is about average among the second ranks. But when she breaks down in tears, feeling betrayed because she believed Corin was a good person, he only smiles evilly. With a mocking tone, he tells her to be a good person herself, and hands over her armband. She literally dealt with a group of students of 3rd and 4th rankers who made groups against her, though she didn't consider Corin, a 5th ranker, a threat at all, but that was moments ago. As of right now, she is struggling to save herself from Corin's attacks. He is smartly counterattacking her by letting her attack first in order to put her under pressure, but Alicia can sense some spaces in between those attacks. She tries to take this space as an opportunity to aim at him, but as soon as she tries attacking him, it is stopped by his weapon. First, he uses lawn to deflect the incoming attacks, pushing down Alicia's weapon. Then he follows up with Chow, a straight-line stab that catches her off guard. Alicia is shocked. He's combining the most basic techniques with such precision. By combining these fundamentals, he creates a powerful and direct counter, Spear Intent, Ultimate Essence, and 6 flawless steps. With the block capture plague, he sends her crashing back to the ground. Alicia pants on the ground, blocking the attack with her aura. She notices his level of mastery is exceptional over any skill he has, coming to the conclusion that he can't be a 5th-rank player at all. However, Korin has finally achieved the armband, but he doesn't know yet that the battle for him is not over. Mercenary of sword control, Dron Worski attacks Korin out of the blue with his heavy iron sword, though he is shocked to see a 5th-ranker block it. Being aware of his capabilities, Dron simply puts a proposition to hand him the armband and leaves unharmed. Korin can't help but curse his poor luck since Dron is the last guy he wanted to encounter. Even after killing numerous players, he is standing without a single scratch, so the only better way out, according to him, is running. Without hesitating a bit, while biting that armband, he starts running towards the cabin. Although he is surprised to see Alicia running after him while crying because she doesn't want to die as Dron is unleashing attacks from behind. Upon arriving at the cabin, Kranel Luden stands at the exit with golems, demanding the armband. Behind him is Dron, and in front of him is Kranel. Not having much of a choice, Korin takes an attacking stance, ready to fight both the guys at the same time. After some time, Korin gets inside the cabin with 3 armbands, deciding on his winning prize. A few moments ago, Korin pierced the magic sword's core before it powered up and stuck it in the ground using telekinesis. He dodged attacks with small movements, used Dron as a shield, broke the golem's crystals, and then defeated Kranel. His skill, speed, and tactics felt like a true battlefield expert. Watching him, Alicia felt like she was seeing her sister. Witnessing this, Alicia becomes more motivated to work hard, while Dron is shocked with his capabilities, and Kranel can't help but cry on the ground when Korin advises him for acting smart, and if it was Korin, he would have made a friend stand guard. Kranel has no friends. Now the strongest participant there is the druid who gets protection of the forest, Yahello. However, there are no participants, only mages too, Mariette Dunalef. Though Yule couldn't get much protection from the forest, since the experts like Mariette took on the role of monsters. Seeing her cry, Mariette consoles her, but something unexpected happens. She senses someone behind her. It is none other than Hwaran, who is not supposed to be there. Hwaran, being half mobster and half human, tries attacking Mariette, but ends up being frustrated after getting to know that she is a monster as of now. Inside the cabin, the receptionist is impressed to see a high scorer like Korin after so long. Therefore, Korin chooses his winning prizes, including a Matbor molar knife, a leather protective coat, and Shark Bear's bile. But as soon as he chooses Shark Bear's bile, his mind changes, and he chooses Mandrake's seed instead. Still, he has 17 points left, so he uses them to buy nutritional plant supplements and earmuffs. After getting out of the cabin, Korin is shocked to see Jaeger and Lark obtaining 2nd and 3rd place as they work together. Unlike the past life where Jaeger was the biggest bully of Lark, Jaeger suggests they go to the training room that night, but seeing him all boosted up, he suggests both Lark and Jaeger help him find the golem core, which Kranel is searching for worriedly without uttering a word. Korin is aware that it is important for Kranel, and he even worked quite often with Kranel Luden in his past life, so they all help him find the core. At this time, Alicia is injured, Dron is out of fighting power, and Yuel is half dead after being defeated by Mariette. Seeing her in this condition shocks Korin. He wonders what these professors are up to, giving such a hard time to students. Korin approaches Yuel and helps her to stand up, but suddenly the ground starts trembling, and Yuel urges Korin to run away, blaming Mariette for something. Mariette has a natural ability to analyze magic and is blessed with a large amount of mana. She's a mage who has never faced despair, frustration, or failure. She's the talented one expected to carry on Josephine's legacy. For Mariette, the hunting ground feels like a playground. Her job is to control the difficulty just enough to help her juniors grow, but right now she is facing Hwaran. Although she promised to her seniors that she would never use attack magic, she has broken that promise right now in order to save herself. She is using her full power. She tries stopping Hwaran, but realizing the situation has gotten out of control, Josephine appears there on time, finding Mariette in a very bad condition. In that hunting ground, Korin takes first place, while the conflict between Hwaran and Mariette scares the shit out of him because he thinks she is already awakened as a boss, though there are 3 weeks left for her to be awakened. Pressing forward, at the outskirts of the hunting ground, Korin meets an NPC based on an old legend from the heroic legend of Arhan. It's an Easter egg where a Taoist hermit asks if a gold or silver axe is yours, rewarding honesty. Originally, only certain weapons triggered it, but expert players began testing random rare items. However, when Korin does the same, the hermit asks Korin if the silver seed is his. Korin denies it, thinking no one would throw away such a valuable item. Because of his honesty, the hermit rewards him with all 3 seeds, including Mandrake's white, silver, and golden seeds. Korin's eyes shine with joy. He can't help but fantasize about improving his mana. Simultaneously, the gold and white silver Mandrake seeds have special capabilities. If planting a gold Mandrake seed, it grows as a Mandrake that shines with gold light, while the silver one shines with silver light. In his last life, Park Sihu ate the gold one, and he has the silver one, but this time, all are his. Mariette becomes the first boss, and awakens as a special vampire after a mission involving the Fog City's vampire, John Doe, in 3 weeks. Corin doesn't know how a demon agent is inside her, but there's still time. That's mainly why he showed off his power against the second-ranked knights earlier, as no one would team up with a weak 5th-ranked knight. However, Mariette has finally woken up, still weak because of the injuries, though Isabel, her roommate, tries to console her. To her surprise, she is quieter than usual. While Corin has aimed to save a girl from her misfortune, deciding to train Alicia first, employ Drawn, act kind with Ewell, and become closer to Golem sorcerer Cranel to create a party for the upcoming disaster. It all will be okay, hopefully, if everything goes accordingly, and Corin is pretty confident about saving Mariette. On the flip side, something strange has unfolded abruptly. Mariette has already turned into a vampire, lunging forward to attack Isabel to suck her blood, declaring that she is pretty thirsty. Professor Josephine has banned Huaren to leave her room or to have any visitors. Huaren was allowed to have private lessons from Josephine if Huaren wanted to learn, so Huaren can self-reflect on herself. Huaren is getting bored in her room and even considers jumping out the window to be free. All of a sudden, Corin looks through the window, hanging upside down, and reintroduces his name to Huaren. Corin has brought a cake for Huaren as he did not want to come empty-handed. Corin asks Huaren to open the window for him to enter, but Huaren reminds Corin that coming inside is against the school's rules. Corin laughingly claims that he's on a tree and not inside, and more importantly, Madame Josephine isn't there, so Corin won't get into any trouble. Corin had come to check up on Huaren after the incident at the hunting ground, but notices that Huaren does not have a single scar or signs of any injuries. Corin understands Josephine's concern to lock Huaren up for 4 days for being a special case demi-human, and after what happened at the hunting ground. Huaren reveals that Josephine hasn't come by for more than 4 days, which shocks Corin. The tree branch on which Corin was hanging onto snapped, making Corin fall down. Cory promises to bring Huaren some food later and leaves. Corin finds it strange why Madame Josephine left Huaren alone, as Huaren is the most person at Merkaba Academy. Corin wonders if something abnormal might be happening as Josephine has left for 4 days, and Magic Faculty Professor Dana and Knight Professor Fermac Damon are seen going towards the outskirts, searching for a certain female. Third Security Officer Crone stops Corin, believing Corin wants to visit Mariette, and reminds Corin that his visiting request has been rejected. Corin brings Crone food and drinks, stating that Madame Josephine sent it for Crone. Crone is glad that Madame Josephine takes good care of people below her. This was all part of Corin's plan to go into the room as Corin's request to visit Mariette was rejected, and Isabel, who was protecting Mariette, had also gone missing, and there was a guard assigned to the doorstep, increasing Corin's suspicions. Crone's stomach gets upset after eating the food, and Corin leads Crone to the washroom. Crone asks Corin to—
And that's where we leave off. Plot twists dropped, power levels shattered, and the stakes higher than ever. If your heart's racing and you're hungry for more, don't just sit there. Like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next mind-blowing recap. This is Granular Manhwa Recap, where every panel hits harder, and every episode keeps you on the edge. Stay sharp, stay hyped, and I'll see you in the next one.